This is Daily Homeless News, where tell the stories no one else will. Today we're diving into Las Vegas, a city known for its dazzling neon glow, high-stakes casinos, and the non-stop buzz of entertainment. But beneath all the glitz and glamour lies a side of Vegas most tourists never see. While millions arrive chasing fortune and fun in what's famously called Sin City, not everyone leaves a winner. Just beyond the lights of luxury hotels and the chaos of the Strip exists a harsh and often invisible reality, one marked by poverty, hardship, and survival. Thousands of people live on the margins of this sparkling playground, caught in a daily fight against homelessness right in the shadow of billion-dollar resorts. Come with us as we explore a side of Las Vegas that few ever see. A hidden reality where those who've lost everything struggle to survive in a city built on hope and illusion. Before we dive into this powerful journey, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. And if you're enjoying our Daily Homeless News series, tap that notification bell so you never miss a look into the untold stories and overlooked corners of cities across the globe. The city of sharp contrasts. Las Vegas, famously known as the entertainment capital of the world, is a city built on dazzling extremes. Just steps away from its shimmering skyline of five-star resorts, world-class cuisine, and sold-out shows, a harsh and sobering reality exists. While millions of tourists indulge in the city's promise of glamour and excess, thousands of residents are caught in a daily battle for survival. Mere blocks from the Strip, a growing homelessness crisis is unfolding. According to the most recent government data, nearly 8,000 people in Las Vegas are currently without a home, a number that has surged by 20% in just the past year. This explosive rise raises a haunting question. What drives so many to stake their lives on a city infamous for swallowing fortunes as fast as it spits them out? For countless dreamers, it's the magnetic pull of the American dream, a shot at starting over in a place where the impossible feels within reach. But what happens when that dream curdles into something darker? The dazzling glow of Las Vegas hides deep, painful truths, and those who come chasing hope often end up with nothing left but the echo of what they lost. Las Vegas is a city of striking extremes, where glittering wealth stands shoulder to shoulder with quiet desperation, and where the gap between making it and losing everything is razor thin. As housing prices skyrocket, jobs grow scarce, and social safety nets fray, more and more residents are slipping through the cracks. In Vegas, the gamble isn't just about money, it's about survival. The housing crisis. One of the biggest factors fueling the homelessness crisis in Las Vegas is a critical shortage of affordable housing. Believe it or not, for every 100 low-income renters, there are just 14 affordable units available. That gap is staggering, especially in a city that sells itself as a land of opportunity. Because of this shortage, thousands of residents are forced to spend over 30% of their income just to keep a roof over their heads. And when you're living that close to the edge, it doesn't take much to fall. One illness, a lost job, or even a surprise car repair can be enough to tip the scales and push families into homelessness. Housing costs in Las Vegas have surged in recent years, rising far faster than wages. Today, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment sits well above $1,200 a month. For the hospitality and service workers who keep the Vegas economy alive, that price is simply out of reach. Many are living paycheck to paycheck, teetering on the edge of financial ruin with no safety net in sight. Here's something to think about. How can a city raking in billions from tourism still fail to offer affordable housing for its own people? The answer lies in a deep, growing divide between those cashing in on the city's flashy success and those left struggling in its shadows. As the skyline fills with luxury hotels, massive casinos, and upscale apartments, the stock of low-cost housing keeps shrinking, pushing countless low-income residents closer to the edge of poverty. Mental health and addiction. Las Vegas is a city built on risk, a place where thrill seekers come to chase dreams, tempt fate, and indulge in every desire imaginable. But for many, those high-stakes choices come at a steep cost. Mental illness and addiction are major driving forces behind the city's worsening homelessness crisis. Experts estimate that nearly 2 out of every 3 people experiencing homelessness in Las Vegas are battling mental health challenges or substance dependency. For them, the road to healing is filled with obstacles, from limited access to care and deeply rooted stigma, to the harsh reality of simply surviving day-to-day on the streets. What would you do if you were facing both homelessness and mental illness at the same time? For many living on the streets of Las Vegas, that's not a hypothetical question. It's their daily reality. Serious conditions like schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and PTSD are widespread in the homeless community. And without access to consistent mental health care, these disorders make it nearly impossible to secure a job or maintain stable housing. Instead, many become trapped in a relentless cycle. Untreated mental illness leads to substance abuse, and that addiction often deepens the spiral into homelessness. This is not just a public health crisis, it's a moral one. Allowing vulnerable individuals to suffer like this is a violation of their most basic rights, and it's something that must be challenged, called out, and changed. For many, the root of their struggles reaches back to childhood, early trauma, or abuse that left deep scars. For others, the emotional toll of life on the streets triggers the onset of mental health issues. To cope with the pain, many turn to drugs or alcohol, temporary escapes from a relentless reality. But addiction only tightens its grip, dragging them further down in a cycle that's nearly impossible to break without support. The impact of COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic sent shockwaves around the world, but few cities felt the blow as deeply as Las Vegas. With its economy built on tourism and entertainment, the sudden halt in travel wiped out thousands of jobs in an instant. The hospitality and service sectors, lifelines for much of the local population, were devastated. For many families already living paycheck to paycheck, the economic collapse pushed them dangerously close to homelessness. The eviction moratoriums introduced at the peak of the pandemic offered only a temporary lifeline. Once those protections were lifted, a wave of evictions followed, displacing thousands. In the wake of COVID-19, the city experienced a dramatic rise in homelessness as individuals and families living paycheck to paycheck were suddenly left with no safety net. For many, the expiration of federal unemployment aid and rental support programs marked the breaking point. This brings up a crucial question. What lasting effects will the pandemic have on cities like Las Vegas, where the road to economic recovery has been slow and uneven? Tourism may be making a comeback, but the aftermath is still visible, especially in the rising number of individuals forced to live on the streets. The pandemic delivered a devastating blow to mental health across the country. Isolation, financial pressure, and a constant sense of uncertainty intensified existing struggles for countless individuals. Substance abuse surged, while access to mental health care became even more restricted as healthcare systems buckled under pressure. For many who were already on the brink, the crisis pushed them over the edge, sending them into homelessness and changing the course of their lives forever. A harsh reality, life on the streets. Surviving on the streets of Las Vegas comes with brutal, unforgiving challenges. The city's desert climate shows no mercy. In the peak of summer, temperatures often climb past 43°C, turning sidewalks into scorching hot plates. With little to no access to shelter, shade, or clean water, the homeless are left dangerously exposed, battling heat stroke, dehydration, and the very real threat of death. Under this relentless sun, every single day becomes a fight, just to stay alive. Winter brings a different kind of battle, one just as brutal. Even when the sun warms the day, nights tell a colder story, with temperatures often plunging to freezing. For those living on the streets, it's not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Without access to warm clothing, blankets, or safe shelter, many face the deadly risk of hypothermia as their bodies struggle to survive the harsh swing between day and night. In downtown Las Vegas, just steps away from shelters like Catholic Charities, large crowds of homeless individuals gather each day, chiefly clinging to the hope of securing a spot in an emergency shelter. But with limited bed space available, many are left waiting for hours, only to be turned away once the facility reaches capacity. For those who don't make it inside, the streets become their only option for the night, exposing them to harsh weather conditions and the constant risks that come with life on the street. The Mole People of Las Vegas. One of the most unexpected and haunting realities of Las Vegas's homelessness crisis is the presence of the so-called Mole People. These are individuals who've sought refuge deep beneath the city, living inside the vast network of flood control tunnels designed to handle rare but intense desert rainstorms. Spanning hundreds of miles below the glittering lights of the Strip, these dark, damp passageways have become home to an estimated 1,500 people, offering a fragile sense of shelter from the harsh and often dangerous world above. Life inside the tunnels comes with its own set of deadly risks. Flash floods can strike with little to no warning, turning narrow passageways into raging torrents within minutes. those who fail to flee in time often pay the ultimate price. But water isn't the only danger lurking below. The tunnels are filthy with no access to clean water, proper sanitation, or airflow, creating the perfect storm for disease. Infections spread fast, and without medical support, even small health issues can spiral into life-threatening conditions. Stigma and society's perception. One of the biggest challenges in tackling homelessness is the stigma that clings to it. Too often, society sees homeless individuals not as people, but as a problem to manage or a nuisance to avoid, rarely taking the time to understand the complex, often heartbreaking paths that lead someone to life on the streets. This harmful perception creates an even steeper uphill battle, making it harder for those experiencing homelessness to access support, compassion, or real opportunities to rebuild their lives. Public perception has a powerful impact on how homeless individuals are treated. Many people still assume that homelessness stems solely from bad personal decisions, overlooking the deeper systemic factors like the shortage of affordable housing, inadequate mental health services, and limited job opportunities that fuel the crisis. This harmful narrative influences how society interacts with the homeless in public spaces, often resulting in exclusion, mistreatment, and a disturbing lack of empathy from the community at large. Struggling for survival, daily life. Survival is an everyday battle for the homeless in Las Vegas. With limited resources at their disposal, many turn to panhandling, collecting recyclables, or taking on odd jobs just to make ends meet. But even these efforts can put them at risk. Vulnerable and desperate, they often become targets for exploitation, lured into dangerous or illegal work by people who offer little to no pay, and preying on their need and lack of options. Violence is a grim reality that haunts life on the streets. Homeless individuals are often easy targets for criminals who view them as defenseless and disposable. Physical assaults, robberies, and worse are everyday threats. Women, in particular, face heightened danger. Many become victims of sexual exploitation or fall into the grip of human trafficking. With no safe haven to escape to, countless homeless people live in a constant state of fear, always bracing for the next attack, never knowing when they might be the next to suffer. For those battling addiction, the daily struggle to survive becomes even more overwhelming. Substance abuse deepens the hardships of life on the streets, draining their time, money, and strength. Often, the addiction is the only thing that offers a momentary escape from their brutal reality, even though in the end, it only pulls them deeper into the cycle of suffering. Healthcare, a crisis that won't go away. Access to healthcare remains a major challenge for the homeless community in Las Vegas. Without a permanent address or health insurance, many are left with no choice but to turn to emergency rooms for their medical needs. In fact, recent local surveys reveal that more than 40% of the homeless population rely on ERs as their primary form of health care. This not only overwhelms an already stretched system, but also drives up public health care costs and reduces access for others who truly need urgent care. The absence of preventive health care often turns minor, manageable issues into severe, life-threatening emergencies. Something as simple as an infection can spiral into a critical condition when it's left untreated for weeks or even months. Although Medicaid expansion in Nevada has opened the door to health care access for some homeless individuals, it still falls far short of meeting the full scale of the need. Community impact. Homelessness isn't just a personal struggle, it's a community-wide issue. In a city like Las Vegas, where tourism fuels much of the local economy, the visibility of large homeless encampments can create friction among tourists, residents, and those experiencing homelessness. Public areas such as parks, sidewalks, and open plazas often become places where the homeless seek refuge or a meal, leading to growing concerns and complaints from both visitors and locals alike. Crime and disruption often follow in areas heavily impacted by homelessness. With little access to basic services or support systems, many unhoused individuals resort to petty crimes or survival-driven actions that disturb public order. This fuels a cycle where homelessness draws increased law enforcement attention, but without tackling the root causes, the issue continues to spiral. A glimmer of light, community compassion in action. Though the homelessness crisis in Las Vegas is overwhelming, countless organizations and grassroots groups are stepping up to spark change. Nonprofits such as the Nevada Homeless Alliance and Help Hope Home are on the front lines, working relentlessly to connect individuals experiencing homelessness with vital support and resources. From food pantries to recovery initiatives, these groups serve as a crucial lifeline for those who have nowhere else to go, offering not just aid, but a pathway to hope. One of the most powerful initiatives is led by Shine a Light, a nonprofit dedicated to helping the so-called mole people who live deep within the flood control tunnels beneath the city. Their outreach teams venture regularly into these hidden underground communities, bringing essential supplies, medical attention, and access to addiction recovery and housing programs. So, for those surviving in these harsh, unseen places, this kind of support can be truly life-changing, offering a rare spark of hope in an otherwise desperate reality. The Courtyard Homeless Resource Center plays a crucial role in the fight against homelessness, providing a range of integrated services like temporary shelter, medical care, and job training. But despite its importance, the center's impact is often constrained by limited funding and overcrowded facilities. While many organizations are stepping up to help, the scale of homelessness in Las Vegas demands a larger, more systemic solution to create real, lasting change. So what can we actually do to tackle the rising homelessness crisis in Las Vegas? First, increasing affordable housing and providing rental assistance for low-income families is crucial. The Housing First model, which prioritizes providing permanent housing before offering additional services like mental health care and addiction recovery, has proven effective. Expanding emergency shelters and transitional housing programs will also provide homeless individuals with safe spaces to stabilize their lives. Additionally, offering job training and employment support will help them reintegrate into society. Lastly, it's important to focus on providing targeted support for specific groups such as veterans and homeless youth to reduce long-term homelessness. These combined efforts can help make meaningful progress in tackling the homelessness crisis. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of the homelessness crisis in the United States through a travel documentary perspective. The stories we've shared today are more than just numbers. They are about real people, many of them women, who deserve dignity, safety, and the opportunity to rebuild their lives. If this video has resonated with you, please give us a like, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe to our channel for more travel documentary content that highlights important issues from around the world. Let's work together to spread awareness and drive change.